Good morning. Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives, and we are wrapping up the 2022 NFR Hangover with this amazing season finale. You guys, so first of all, the monkey in the room. I'm sorry that my technology was, technology yesterday. And I do have to admit, it's not all technology. My daughter had a dance recital, and I really needed to be there. So I was, and I wasn't here. I did comment, and it was fun to watch on the other side. So we can talk about that. Hey, you guys, before we move on, I will remind you, although it does feel awkward every time I say this, but it is a typical salesman. So I have to make the ask, right? If you guys liked what you saw this year, reach out to Jim Boy and Tony and I and let us know. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We will take that. But also, if you're interested in partnerships or sponsorships, please reach out and we'd love to put something together. Again, by the time we get to this round, the last round and the last show of the NFR Hangover, we're all exhausted and we question why we do this. But honestly, we do it because it's fun. We enjoy educating people, but we also enjoy telling stories and telling rodeo stories. So if you are interested in partnership, reach out to us. If you're just interested in throwing us a little bit, then you can go over to the Bullfrog Creatives Facebook page where this is also live and shoot us some stars. You know what? It's not a whole lot, but we would appreciate anything. If we can just buy ourselves a cup of coffee to help recover from this week, then we would appreciate that also. Before we get much farther, I do want to make sure that I give a shout out to Cinch Jeans, sporting some of their new fall line today. We want to say thank you for partnering with Bullfrog Creatives, but also with NFR Hangover. We're really grateful for that partnership, and we would not be able to keep going if we didn't have those partnerships. Also want to give a shout out. Look at the Christmas presents came. We got our CeeLo cinches in the mail yesterday. We've already seen that one, so let me hold this one up. If you are still wondering what to get for that person, that horse person in your life, then reach out to CeeLo Cinches, CIELO Cinches. You can find them on Facebook. And I think that's it for now. You guys stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this. We're just going to bring everyone in at the same time because there's so much to talk about. Clint, hey.
Good morning.
So also, it's really nice to meet you, Clint. Thank you so much for joining us. That yesterday faux pas was totally my fault. I looked back and I had an extra O somewhere in the email. So I'm glad that you could join us today, and I'm sorry that I threw you under the bus inadvertently yesterday.
Hey, that's all right. He only got fined by us. I just want to let you know we got our own fine sheet for the NFR Hangover show. Clint's on for failure. You show up. His payment is having to come on today. Jim Boy and I have been fined for just being ourselves. And the fine is Heidi's still got to work with us all the time. So, hey, Clint, thank you for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. I mean, your pedigree speaks for itself. 18-time NFR qualifier in the bareback riding, world champion bareback rider, 3-time Dodge National Circuit Finals champion, which is now the NFR Open because it seems like we like to rename things just because.
Yeah.
That's appreciate you coming on this morning. Great to have you on, sir.
Great to be here. I really am going to enjoy this. This is good.
I hope you have your muck boots.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's when you start telling rodeo stories. It just happens. You got to put your boots on. Yeah.
Gets deep.
Gets a little deep.
So
great rodeo last night, though.
Yeah.
It did not disappoint.
No, did not.
No.
Well,
round 10 didn't disappoint. The whole week didn't disappoint. I mean, it played out kind of like everybody thought it might play out for round 10, but. I mean, starting right from the crack of the gate in the bareback riding. I mean, you've got 92 points to win the round by Casey Fields. Clayton Bigelow finally taps off, makes the best ride of the week. He's 90, thinking, I'm going to get out of here with the go round. And Casey Fields says, hold my beer. Yeah. And just put an exclamation point on a phenomenal finals. He places in 8 out of 10 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
That's
unbelievable. He did, Jess is a great bareback rider, and he's got a lot of big wins left in front of him. They got a lot of money for him still here. It was good to see Casey Field be 92 and just let him know that he's still the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It was just he looked so so in control and just controlled that ride. But Jess, you knew it was coming, a gold buckle, because to win the NFR average once is just that. I mean, that's a feather in your cap. It's legendary. To do it 2 years in a row is amazing. He is now 30 in a row at the NFR winning. He's got three average titles 3 years in a row. You rode bareback horses there for 18 years, Clint. You know how taxing those 10 days are.
Oh, yes.
He was emotional, and that was one of the greatest interviews that I've seen. And I feel like a weenie up there as he's tearing up.
Yeah,
that was amazing, and that was heartfelt, because all that work and all those years, it culminated right there. And I say, I'm with you. He's got plenty of gold buckles and big wins in front of him, but it was great to see.
It was really good to see. Casey did it like he won 4 world championships and 4 average championships in a row.
Okay, so that's what Casey stacked them up like that. I couldn't remember. I was really into the bulldogging at that time, but now I'm into all the events around.
Yeah, no, it's so good, to see this the bareback riding as good as it is, because when we in '85 when we first went there, the horses and everything weren't anything. The equipment wasn't like it is today. The horses aren't like what they are today. The advancement in the bareback riding has grown just tremendously, and it's really made it more fun for watching. The guys are just makes it easier on them to become good bareback riders, to getting on good horses, and we're using good equipment. So Barstow Rodeo equipment has really done a great job in upgrading the riggings from the time we got them till now.
Well, I was going to say, is that's going to attribute to these guys having longer careers? Is the quality of the equipment, the quality of the stock?
Yes.
And like you say, the Super Bowl of rodeo, I remember talking, and this is from team ropers in California. This is when the finals was in Oklahoma. They said they wouldn't go to the finals. They turned out and go to a jackpot because the finals wasn't worth going to. And this is 60s and 70s, but just the evolution of where the finals is now is just amazing for the Cowboys and Cowgirls.
Well, so let's put it in perspective. Clint, when you were at the NFR, what was the payout for like a go round?
The first year it went to NFR, which is in '85, and that's the first year it went to Vegas. So they paid $8,000 a round, which was double what they paid at Oklahoma City. It was $4,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like a windfall at that time. I mean, hey, they're doubling our money. Here we go.
Yeah, it was just fantastic. I placed in, I don't know, 6 or 7 rounds the first year and won $37,000, which was a lot of money in 1985. That was good. And I had the bonus money from Winston and Coors and all that we had, Coca-Cola, all that. I came out of there the first year with $57,000. That was a lot of money in 1985. It was huge. So
go ahead,
Heidi.
I'm just going to say, how did we get from that to this? Is it a lot to do with the partnership with Las Vegas? Is it just the times?
The partnership with Las Vegas, for one, the building of the fans, filling that stadium up every night. They were able to increase the prize money and make the placings down to 6th place. When we first started, there was only 4 monies in a round in every event. Now they're paying 6 monies in a round. And instead of 6 in the average, you're paying 8 in the average. So they split the money up a little bit by paying more people, which is fantastic, I think. So every night, nearly, almost half the guys get a check.
Everybody has a pretty good shot to win something.
Yes.
Well, they said when Benny Binion brought it to Vegas that first year, some of those hotels were shut down because that time from December to January 1st was their dead time. They were cleaning rooms, replacing carpets, painting. And now it's the biggest 2 weeks of the year.
It is.
The cowboy culture, it went from being the dead time from December 1st because of the holidays through January is what I've been told. It was just kind of the dead time. Bringing the NFR gave it the shot in the arm, and Las Vegas doesn't want to lose it. And that's why they keep making it bigger.
Yeah, they fight to keep it because it's so huge for them. Yeah, they employed that first year. They said they employed 8,000 people that were normally unemployed during that time of year.
Just
Wow.
in 85.
It was huge. Yeah, in 85. So that's
so did it really? I mean, it had to have just completely changed the economic standpoint of Las Vegas as a whole.
Oh, it did. Oh, you can't hardly imagine, Heidi. It was fantastic to see it grow. I remember when we would go out to Thomas and Mack, and they'd say, "Well, how do we get there?" Well, you go down Las Vegas Strip south till you see Tropicana. You can't miss it. It's the only thing there. Turn left. No, seriously, that's what you did. You went to Tropicana and turned left, and South Point was down there a mile or two. I mean, that's how easy it was. There was nothing in the way.
Just you go to the Tropicana, make a left, and you're going to run into it.
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that does explain why Las Vegas Events is so adamant about keeping it, and like they just keep adding more and more to the contract just because they know the history of it, I would assume.
Yes. Oh, they do. Yeah, they know.
They know how important it is to their city, but also they see where rodeo is going with these other avenues. I'm just looking. I mean, still in the bareback riding, Jess Pope has a phenomenal finals, places in 8 out of 10 rounds, wins the average, wins his first world title. Cole Franks, who came in 13th, 14th into the finals, barely gets in, wins second average. He places in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He places in 7 rounds. You know, you got Casey Fields, who's got 6 gold buckles, 4 average titles. Then R.C. Landingham, who's having the best year of his career. But here's R.C.'s deal. He gets to lead the NFR. The PRCA season's done. New season's already started. He's going to Cowtown. He's going to the stockyards, and he's riding for $1 million at the WCRA, one of the last, he's going for the Triple Crown. He can win $1 million if he wins that one next week.
That's next week. Yeah.
That's next week. He leaves the finals. He's got 7 days. We're going to go down. I'm going to go down and watch because that's history making. But look at where rodeo's evolved to in the last 30 years. We saw the bull riding do it in the PBR with giving $1 million bonuses and this and that. But you got a bareback rider that he can cover. If he can go win the third major in a row, he's going to get $1 million. That's pretty special.
That is really special. I was never even talked about or even heard of or even thought of back when we started, So, unbelievable. There is maybe a little rainbow at the end, but, it's still hard. It's still hard for the majority of all the contestants, and this right now we're just, celebrating all the great champions that won this week and all that. And they all start even again at Denver.
Well, I was going to say, we're in one sport, actually, that it ends September 30th and October 1st. You're rodeoing for 2023. There's no downtime. There's no off season. There's no training camp. Hey, you're trying to close out 2022 and be a champion. That's coming in December. You're in the top 15. You've got a shot. But if you want to even win a championship and try to be a repeat champion, you got to start October 1st because you can't let those girls get a jump on you because you got to try to reel them in.
That's right.
You look at Dirk Taverner in the steer wrestling. The man blew out his knee right before the final, still goes and throws 10 steers. And I might give him a toughness award right there. Yeah. But now he's going to have surgery next week. He's going to rebuild his knee, but there's a good chance he doesn't get a shot to make the finals because there's no downtime, there's no recovery. And for a rodeo cowboy, there's no sick leave, there's no paycheck coming in. You still got to generate some kind of way to make a living, but you're laid up now.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, before we get too far, let's talk about the Pro Fantasy League real quick.
I want to.
I will say that I am not last, but my people really pulled through for the average money.
Yeah.
And even minors won money in the team roping in the average, which I apparently didn't realize they were in the team roping average, but the team roping average kind of fell apart. So that makes sense anyways. So enough about how poorly I did, although I did finish in the top 12, Tony, top 12.
I saw that. I was happy for you. I was top 2. I would beat you by 2 spots.
Yeah, I was rounding out the league in like 2021 most of the week. So my average picks worked out for me. So winning round 10 go around, and we'll be getting some cinch swag, is Coach's Kid team from CJ Aragon, Clint Aragon over at Soul Ross. So listen, I can just imagine that the smack talk is going to get worse and worse the later in the year we go, because everyone's going to remind us how well they did and how poorly we have done. So there you go.
Maybe.
Well, listen, you would.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's me though. Come on, Heidi. You know that's how I'm gonna roll.
And just so that I can talk a little bit of smack myself, I did come in ahead of my dad's team. So he performed really well on the rounds, and then I think my average kicked his butt. He's gonna be here next week for Christmas, so.
Well, and going back, and Coach's Kids team, CJ's his second team. He lets his daughter Lauren pick her team. Well, and she picked Tristan Hutchins, and guess what? 90-some thousand in the bull riding last night. That's why you blow everybody else out of the water.
Yeah. Oh, I probably should talk about who wins. So I assume the number one team is who wins the buckle, right?
Yeah, CJ won the buckle.
CJ wins the buckle, man.
But hey, everybody's a winner in this country, so I'm getting my own buckle made for
everybody gets a trophy. I don't know that Cinch is going to give me that much swag to hand out for our league, but we'll see.
That's funny.
Okay, take that knife out. We're good. Moving on.
All right, let's talk. You want to talk a little steer wrestling, Jim Boy, and how a barrier cost a gold buckle?
Well, hang on. I want to go back. I just been listening. I was watching Casey's ride here on TV, and I want to ask Clint, did you ever see, how many rides did you see like that last night when you were riding?
You just didn't see him. Not quite like Casey's. Casey
with
stands
that
out.
kind of a horse to have that ride, frankly.
Right. Yeah, and when Casey won his 4 average championships and 4 world championships in a row, every night was like that. You couldn't deny him the win. I mean, he was just stood out about everybody else that much. He was just that good. He just is.
When we go back and watch them finals that you're riding in, the early finals.
Yes.
I mean, and Butch mentioned it on the telecast, and you mentioned the horses just weren't the same. You guys would have killed to have Colin Pickett as a contractor.
Oh yeah, wouldn't we though? Him and Pete Carr and them. Yeah. There's so many good stock contractors, and the breeding program has gone so good. In '85, we took horses that loped around in a circle. If they, we had to pick lopers, but if they'd lope in a circle, well, we'll take them. I mean, I'm serious. That's how bad it was trying to get a pen of 5 head to go for 2 go-rounds out there. It was terrible. Horrible.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when we introduced Clint, we didn't ask. We all knew he rode. What are you doing? I'm curious what you're doing these days.
I work for Pony Express Land Services, and we do right-of-ways for Encore Power Company. So we write the easements and right-of-ways for them, so they can go put in new poles and power lines. And I also do a lot of coaching. I got a lot of kids come over to the house. I've got a Mighty Bronchi here. I help a lot of these high school kids, and I coach the Region 3 high school rodeos here too. So I help them a lot and enjoy doing that too. So
giving back.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and started also. We got a little business Eternip here Summit. The Summit for horses and Eternip here for people. And the Eternip here is for people. It's a joint supplement and it's fantastic. Now I can run up and down the arena when I'm judging.
Well, run away. Your wife put the video you on the Mighty Bronchi on.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. Well, my knees were shot, and so I started using this, and unbelievable. The Eternip here has turned me around. I was going to have knee replacements. It really was. So it's nice to be taking the Eternip here and having the mobility that I lost, in the last few years. So
lost and probably didn't expect to get back.
No, did not. That's why I'm saying I'm going to have to get knee surgeries and have new knees put in, because I went to a surgeon here in Stephenville, and he gave me injections last year for a month, and they didn't do a bit of good. Nothing. Well, he said, you know what's next? You got to have some replacements. I went, yeah. And then we started with this E-turnip here, and man, I can get around so much better. Yeah, it's just amazing. And we've helped a lot of people. I helped a lot of my cowboy friends. They're up and going and loving it. So
here's one that's getting some, because you know what?
Yes.
Carried 400 pounds around for a while. My joints are still pissed at me. So
yeah.
Well, Beverly wants to give a packet away, either this the turnip or Summit, or maybe.
Oh, they got to answer a question.
Question, yeah.
Yeah, you got to make them work for it.
Yeah, she's gonna think of a question for you.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Oh, well, speaking of knees and guys that probably are going to need a turnip here eventually, those bulldog or steer wrestlers, because I tell you what, they brought the beef this year. But the projection going into last night was Big Will Loomis's to win. I mean, he's got to throw one more down. Wegas Pack was there. Stetson Jorgensen, had the inside track, but it was Big Will's. And in the pre-show watching, he had one that ran a little bit, pretty big steer. But when he left the back of that box, I kind of went, ooh, boy, I think he got the barrier. How's this going to play out? Because Wegas Pack had already just wiped one out, placed him in the round. Will throws that steer, but I think he knew. And Jim Boy texted me, hey, did that barrier cost Will? And it did. So Wags wins the world, beats Will Loomis by $2,592, somewhere right there. You take that 10 off of Will, he becomes 51.6 on 10 head. Wags 57.1. You flip him in the average one spot. It's all wood. It just flipped him one spot. But that one spot, that split of the one spot is a $12,000 switch in money.
Well, and if you watched Wag watch that run, you could see it on his face, like
he couldn't believe it was shocking that Will.
What is that? Like, he was still figuring out, what does that mean? What does that look like now? Like, he hadn't. I don't think his mind had even gone there.
Yeah, I don't think Tyler really. I don't think he thought he even had a shot, really. Way outside shot. I think he thought he might have had, but
it was a way outside shot, because also Stetson Jorgensen throws his steer down. I think he gets ahead of Weg. I didn't figure that out, but then Stetson runs off there and gets it off, and and we've all seen just the weirdest stuff happen in that building, and that was just another one. Because the look on Weg's face when both those runs was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then Weg goes and becomes the first back-to-back, first person to win back-to-back since Luke did it in 11 and 12. And Luke and before Luke, it was Oak Berry in 92 and 93 and 93 and 94. So being back-to-back in the steer wrestling is a very hard event, because there's so many good guys right there. But Wags, he's got 4 gold buckles now. He's right there on legendary status.
Yeah, he is.
So
he's the coolest guy.
Oh.
What's that, Heidi?
How's Luke feeling this week? I mean, there's got to be a little taste of, not bitterness, but he certainly has to be missing it.
He mentally and in his heart, he misses it. Physically, I think he knows it's his body. His body just couldn't take it anymore. I hate saying this, but I missed him on the telecast. Nothing against Joe B, but it's like the year they didn't have Donnie Gay in the bull riding, and they had Tough, and Tough is a legendary bull rider, but there's certain people that know their events that can bring it through the screen, and but he's missing it. But I think he's adjusting slowly to his next.
He better be careful, because Bear is going to take his position on Teton.
Bear's a lot more charismatic than Luke, for sure.
Some of those interviews, Jim Boy, did you see any of those? Bear got to interview like Cody Webster and
JB and Sage.
Yeah, JB, and he was asking all the right questions. I mean, he was good. I sent a message on Lindsay's Instagram, and I was like, clearly Tony's asking the wrong person to be on our show.
I should have asked Bear. But then again, his mom if she's not there, you never know what's going to come out of that little boy's mouth. So that's you better have a muzzle on him.
I also live that nightmare because I have a son, so I totally get it.
Oh, But also in the steer wrestling, I don't want to get lost that Kyle Irwin had a phenomenal finals, wins the average. I mean, they're keeping all the steer wrestling money and the gold buckles down there, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. They're keeping all that money down there, I guess it's a hurricane relief fund or what they're building down there with the steer wrestling money. So, Jim Boy, what when you saw Will leave off the back of that box, were you thinking the same thing I was? Boy, he took a cut at him.
It's hard to tell these days, when they changed that barrier and when they added the 6 inches to it, and so you think, well, they can't take the start they used to. Well, they're still rolling. I mean, you got to get your butt out of there. And he said before the rodeo he didn't draw very good. I don't know if you've seen that interview when he stand out, and he just didn't draw one that he needed. And I had a little inside info when I picked my nightly team that Wag had old Goody, and
right.
But he said, he's just kind of big and lumbersome, but I mean, he makes a hell of a run on him. He makes as good a run on him as you can. It looked like to me. He hung it on him. That steer just ain't going to kick.
He made a stud run on him, and I went back and I watched it a couple times. I think he took the start he's taken all week. He gets kind of a foul gate in the first round, gets a barrier. But if you watch that steer, he just doesn't break clean. The pusher's trying. The steer just he's kind of.
They said he kind of hung the horn on somebody else, and I didn't really go back and watch it to see if he really did with him. But if he doesn't break out, does he catch him?
Well, yeah, because they say he took the barrier, you didn't pull right there. That steer, he still caught him down the arena way. So he's got to take a start. Just you feel for him because he was runner up to the world title last year to Wags. He's run up this year, and I got to meet him at the college finals, 2011, 2012, whatever it was. And he is a big, burly looking brute with that beard. He looks even scarier now, but he is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. So I think he's coaching college rodeo now, isn't he, Jim Boy?
Yeah, I think East Mississippi Community College, I think is where he's at. It's kind of funny this fall when that rumor got out. I got to rodeo and somebody said, Is Will Loomis coaching at Northwestern now at Alva? I'm like, not that I know of. And well, I heard he took over for Stockton. I haven't heard that. I think they got confused that a Bulldogger was coaching at a Bulldogging school or something. I don't know,
but Stockton's probably calling. Hey, anybody here if I got fired?
Yeah. Let me know.
They would have to come find him and tell him. I don't know if he'd catch it in his email for a while.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I do want to say I had a pretty good breakfast this morning. I put Timmy Sparring on one of my teams, and that very first steer that stopped took him out of the average that first night. He tasted pretty good this morning. I'm pissed.
Hey, oh, that's good. Hey, talking about NFR average records, Andrew Ward and Buddy Hawkins set a record last year in the team roping that hadn't been touched since '94. Jake and Clay. They get to hold on to it 1 year. NFR rookie Tanner Tomlinson and Patrick Smith, the oldest, according to Trevor Brazil, the oldest person entered at the NFR this year. They go and break the record last night. And I tell you what, one thing too, is that Tanner Tomlinson, and I remember watching Patrick do an interview, it's probably a year or two ago, saying, hey, I'm roping with this kid. He's the next, he's a real deal. That Tanner Tomlinson showed no fear, didn't back off. They knew they had the average one before they run that steer last night because they were a steer ahead of everybody no matter what they did. But, man, you can go be 5'5" and tie the average record that was set the year before, 5'4", and that's a layup for them guys. That Tanner Tomlinson comes at him, hits the line, hangs on. They're what were they last night? 3-7, split first, second, third in the round. They knew they had to do a lot to get a world title. And a lot had to fall apart. And Caleb and Junior the last two nights just made businessman runs. Run in there for what you would at the Thomas and Mack and set them up, make good runs. They clinch back-to-back buckles. But that Tanner Thompson did some heading over the 10 nights. And it was great to see Patrick, after not being at the finals for 7 years, taking care of other stuff in family life. And that team rope one was great last night. 3-7s to split the round. But they go 53 flat on 10 heads, set a new NFR average record. So,
yeah.
And you're right, Heidi, the Miners win third.
Listen,
they came out and just made a great run. That's all they do. What they need to do. Yeah.
And that Tanner did not look like an NFR rookie. I mean, he looked like he had been there before and made runs. But that goes to show, I think, a lot of being partnered with someone that has that experience. Of Patrick rodeoed. He rodeoed with Trevor. And they treated it as a business. I think Tanner, I haven't met him. I know that he lives around here in Stephenville with Patrick, around us. But they say he's a great young man. But he's learned the business side of it. He took care of business every night, and it was really, really fun to watch and exciting. And my wife keeps telling me, "See, I told you that was our pro fantasy team roping team because she's got 2 of Patrick's kids in her class." So we were taking.
How long did Trevor and Patrick always rope together?
The first year, Patrick's first year, he made it in early 2000s, 2001 or 2002. He actually roped with Matt Tyler and won the average. When he was an NFR rookie, he won the average heeling for Matt Tyler. And how about full circle to have an NFR rookie heading for you and then win the average? I mean, bookend your NFR experiences.
I just think it's super funny and goes to show the kind of relationship that these guys build with each other. For Trevor to poke fun at him now for being the oldest one entering, I think that's hilarious, and I think everybody has kind of looked over it. I'm glad that you brought it up, but I just think it's funny.
Well, those two, I think they travel so much. They're like brothers that it's just they're going to rib each other. And Patrick or Trevor had the mic, Patrick had the rope this year, and
Yeah.
I have a question for Heidi. Heidi, do you remember which end Trevor roped at the finals?
Wasn't he a header? No.
Trevor healed the first year.
Yeah, the first year he healed the first year at the finals.
So I was thinking about that the other day because I was like, because I knew that he'd healed, but I also remember him heading too. Is that not right?
Yeah, I know he healed for. I think it was JP Wick headed for him the first year he made the finals. I believe.
Who was heading?
Was it JP Wicket?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a really hard time remembering what I ate for breakfast yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Speed Williams' first time he went was healing for Casey.
He healed for Casey Cox. Casey Cox headed for Speed Williams the first year he made the finals.
Yeah.
I got a question. You mentioned, you moved to Stephenville. How many more people can move to Stephenville? I mean, my goodness.
Well, somebody posted the other day that my family moved to Stephenville. I just followed. I said, yeah, because if I didn't follow, I was going to live with them in California. They said, I'm glad you went to Stephenville.
I'm guessing there's more. What county is that? I can't remember.
Erath.
Yep.
Erath County.
Okay.
I'm guessing there's more arenas in Erath County than there are in most states.
Yeah, I'd be interested to read the planning codes there.
Yeah.
There's probably specific arena sizes in their planning codes.
Probably is, yeah. Ever since Tarleton went Division I too, it's just blown up here too, even worse. They've been just growing and growing and growing like crazy.
Well, I decided to take the girls out Friday night to a watch party. And they're at the Twisted J down the road, right? And we get dressed up. My youngest, she wants to dress up. We get there with King Garcia and his family. We're sitting there, and they got a big blow things on. They're not playing any sound. And Kane's wife goes, "Hey, you can turn the sound on?" "Oh, no, we're just playing rap music." "We're in the cowboy capital of the world. You're playing rap music at the NFR watch party?" They're like, "Yeah, nobody wants to hear the rodeo." We just packed up, came back to the house, and
had your own watch party.
Yeah, and I wound up with a hangover. Thank you, King Garcia. But you're watching today, buddy. I see that. Oh. All right. What about
Clint,
riding last?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What is the biggest change that you see from being a contestant when you were going to now?
Biggest change? It's got to be the livestock for in my event anyway. The rest of the rodeos is still the same. It's still 10 rounds. Still everything's the same. The money's the best, and the livestock's the best. just really raised the bar on everything, by having great stock and more money. It's just made it better. And, Vegas, like you guys were saying, is not going to lose this. They're going to have a hard time ever getting this away from Vegas, just because they have the impact that it has, over 100 million in non-gaming revenue that they get just alone, so it's huge. I see one of the other big things, Heidi, is how much, like we were talking earlier, how much Las Vegas has grown since 1985, since this year. How easily it was to just get to Thomas and Mack when I first started. You just drive over and drive down, you're there, park anywhere you want, not now. Yeah, so things have changed immensely in that fact.
So do you go back every year?
I do. I haven't gone since we went in 19 and we didn't go in 20. Well, I guess we did. We went to one perf here in Dallas and Arlington. But then last year we didn't go at all. And then we went this year just because Beverly had her booth at the turnip year there. So we went back and I didn't get to enjoy it as much this year because we were busy. I didn't hardly see any of the guys that I know. Yeah, I was working. It's like, good grief, this isn't any fun.
It's not near as fun.
Because I told Beverly, I said, the best way to go to that rodeo is a contestant. It really is. If you're going to go, the best way to go is being a contestant, because otherwise there's just way too much stuff to go shop and look at. It's like
too much to take your focus away from the rodeo.
Yeah.
At least if you're a contestant, you have an opportunity to earn some of what you've spent at the shopping. Like maybe it balances out.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
But talking about money earned, and back to what's changed with just the pageantry of it too, of the way the contestants are treated. They're just, their signings, they're putting them all over posters and stuff. People know, you walk down the street, hey, that's Casey Field, that's Cole Franks, that's Kai Hamilton, that's Will Loomis, because it's known what's going on there. The rodeo, they promote these guys now, they're doing a good job of the pageantry of the openings, and they're adding to where it's just not another rodeo. They're making it special all the way around. So
yes, they are. Yeah,
but Vegas has got so much going on, and we had Drew Stewart on earlier in the week with the World Series of Team Roping. Did you guys see where Guy Allen, the legend, 16-time world champion steer roper, won 190,000 healing steers the other day?
Listen, so did you see? So first place paid out 390,000. Second place paid out 302. And actually, second place was a guy here from Casper.
Really? Charlotte looks at that. She sees it. She goes, "We moved to the team roping capital of the world. Why are we not in Vegas roping? You need to rope more."
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'm working on it, honey.
There's arena every corner, I guess.
Yeah, somebody said 17 indoor arenas.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Oh my goodness. What about Zeke Thurston?
Tony, we didn't even talk about the world's toughest, the junior NFR, the
all-in breakaway. There's so much going on. There's still stuff going on. I think they may go for another week with all the other stuff. The NFR's over, but now they're still roping and doing stuff out there.
Yes.
But I think there was the all-in barrel race. There was a lot of local gals here that were down there for that big barrel race.
Oh, yeah. They'll still be going. They're still roping today?
They're still roping today. I know a lot of the trade shows, they used to, the before the 10th round, they'd shut down, and close up. There's trade shows still going today till 5 o'clock. And, I tell you what, it's, honey, don't comment on here because then it's public record.
You heard him.
Yeah. Thanks.
Go to some ropings.
You guys heard she said I could enter. Yes.
So that means that they get to enter too.
Hey.
That's really good.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, before, I know that we still have a lot of events to cover, but I kind of keep asking questions. I love to hear the stories and all the other things. So I missed the 9:30 mark totally. But I have one more partnership to bring up. Williams Studio, if you guys are still, I don't know if they're still set up or not, but if you miss them in Vegas, check them out on Facebook. They also have a website, real authentic Western art. You're going to find wild game. You're going to find team open events, all the things. Again, I said my favorite bronze is the Bulldogger, which is sculpted from a picture of my dad bulldogging at Cheyenne Frontier Days. So that's my favorite. They also have, which I'm just going to start calling them these. I'm not even going to call them wine stoppers. I'm just going to call them Pendleton stoppers. You can kind of see them down here in the corner, but it just replaces the twist on cap. It's just like, they're super cool. Just take my word for it. And they come in a set of 3, or I think you can do one at a time. I'm not sure, but you might ask them. So we're super grateful for their partnership. Again, if you missed them this week, just head on over to Facebook, or you can find them on their website too. So, okay, back to you. Yes,
Heidi, I got a question. What do you need a stopper for Pendleton for? Once you open the
Listen, not everybody drinks the whole bottle.
So I was going to say, she said twist on cap. Heidi, it's a cork.
Yeah.
I don't drink.
So a friend of mine from the other side of the state, he actually posted on Facebook the cork from Benny Butler's bottle of Pendleton when they gave him the bottle on the buckle presentation the other night. And I knew that bottle wouldn't make it off stage. Benny pulls the cork out and throws it in the crowd. And a buddy of mine actually ended up with that cork. So he thought that's pretty cool that he gets the cork from the Pendleton bottle that horse won.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of outed myself there.
Hey,
obviously,
okay.
I don't drink.
Leading into the bronc riding, Clint used to be he was the judging coordinator for the PRCA for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Did that horse get spurred out? There's some people that tried claiming that horse didn't get spurred out. And I don't know. I haven't just went back and really studied it. If you're thinking the first jump was coming out of the chute, maybe no. But then the first real jump, he did have him spurred out. I think there was kind of a jump where you could almost consider that being the first jump out of the chute, but it wasn't. Maybe is that kind of how you saw it? Maybe.
Yeah, because he jumped to the front of the box, and they've got the judges. There's 4 out in the arena and 2 behind each side of the chutes too. So you got a lot of eyes on there, and if he got fouled at all, he got a free roll, no matter what. If that horse hit him in there at any point, especially jumping forward, he didn't come out clean when he nodded for the horse anyway. And so the whole idea is to make sure that the guy gets a fair shot at him to be able to spur him out. He went down the gate. He didn't have to run his foot through the gate to get a free roll. And that's kind of the stuff we talk about. So I don't think I don't know where you would consider the first jump, because I watched it back and forth a lot of times. Because I think he jumped out a little bit and then jumped forward and jumped back and then turned out hard and then hit the ground and then he spurred him out. Yeah. But I think he already got maybe a free roll prior to that. That's what I didn't
see anybody up behind, but I've said on here before, I hate it when judges expect a guy to stay hooked when you're running your foot down the gate. I mean, don't make them break their leg. I mean, for one thing, if you're a gate man, you're supposed to open it to 90. But if that horse is coming, I instruct my kids there at the college and every rodeo I'm at, you don't have to hold it. Once that horse is turned, get it on out of their way. It's just so they don't take their knee off going down the gate. But don't expect them guys to break their damn leg just to get one spurred out.
Yeah. When I was a supervisor, that's when I did the seminars, I teach them that. I'd say, look, you guys, just don't make them break their leg before you give them a free roll. If they turn their toe up and it's, just to get past that gate, even though it didn't hit them, realize if they'd have turned it out, it'd have been through the gate, then, they'd broke their leg. Yeah. Common sense. A lot of it.
Well, hey, I'm not sure if you got to watch many of our shows, and we are all over the place. We're like a shotgun scatter, and we'll voice our opinions. But one thing, and one reason we wanted to bring you on is because you were, head of officiating for 5 years, and the contestant side and all of it. And boy, we started a new association, the Couch Jockey Rodeo Association, because boy, social media has everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got a voice and can do it better, can qualify better. But those judges they're not there to screw people. They're not there to take money out of people's pockets. They're doing their job. And it's probably the hardest job in Vegas for those 10 nights.
Absolutely it is. You know what, Tony, those guys, and I had 14 of them that I was in charge of when I was there just for the NFR. So there's 4, just like in the bareback and bronc riding and bull riding, there's 4 in the arena. And we used to, when I first started, they just went back across the arena. Like the 2 front judges would go from the left to the right, just back and forth. And I changed it. And we did it for a couple of years where I had them rotate from all the way around the arena, make a complete circle. And they would go, because of the 2 judges behind the chutes, they would go from the buck and chute to behind the chute to the other side, and then back in the arena. And then would just continue that all the way around so that everybody got a fair shot at judging, and the contestants felt like they didn't have the same old guy they don't like looking at out there in the front of the chute, getting them at the gate. I mean, there's always perception. A lot of it's perception. All of them are very well qualified to judge, and I tried to pick all good rough stock judges for rough stock events and timed event guys for timed events. Although I dealt with Sean Davis on them because Sean had the last say on who got to go. He
right.
was, if I could pick 14 judges, he'd say, I don't want these 2. I want 2 other ones. I'd have to change them. Until we agree on it.
And I think it's from the judging events to the timed events, and they're like, well, they need instant replay, and they got eyes on them. It's what we're seeing on television and what people are seeing from the stands is not the angle those judges are seeing that. And Jim Boy alluded to it previously about a bareback ride. You can hear when a rider's getting those feet up there. There's a sound it makes. There's a lot that it may look flashy on TV, but it may not be as good a ride as you think. What the judges are seeing, they can feel that energy, and that's why they're out there. Is they're making the calls because they know what they're doing. And hey, this is like any sport. The officials are going to mess up, make bad calls. It happens, but they're not doing it on purpose.
No, they're not doing it on purpose. They don't have time to do it on purpose to screw somebody out. They really don't. I mean, that ride gets over. They want that number in now. I mean, as soon as that whistle blows, you turn around, put in your number, and send it in. There's no time to sit there and think about it.
That's a lot of the talk, Jim Boy. You've seen this. A lot of the talk on some of the Facebook groups is that some of the judges have it out for people. And you know what? Like, that's just not true. That's not. First of all, that's not the culture of rodeo anyways. Like, the judges want to see everybody succeed, and just as much as there's the brotherhood in the steer wrestling, and they all help each other, and everybody's pulling ropes and everybody's helping put saddles on. Like, that's just not the culture of rodeo. And if you've ever been around it, you know that, and that would never even come up. Like, no.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right.
And then another thing that I saw on Facebook, or we were talking last night, and they're talking about the finalists, and I'm sure the PRC is loving that the finalists is getting out in the world to see it.
Yeah, I bet there's going to be some changes.
Yeah.
Some people are getting on the judges for it. Those judges are not the ones getting the hat sticker fines. Those guys have got bigger things to worry about. I don't know if Thomas and Mack, PRC, assigned somebody special to look for those infractions, but that's not your judges that are there judging the rodeo that are writing up the fines. So when people go at the judges, what do they got him for a hat sticker in the arena. I guarantee you they were not looking at that hat sticker. They're watching the ride.
You're exactly right, Tony. Beverly and I were talking about that the other night. I said, I tell you what, the judges, all the stuff that they got to watch for, what is one thing they're not watching for?
Hat stickers and what's on your vest and this and that.
On a PRC sticker on your front of your shirt, I don't know. I don't know how they get away with that one. $1,000 fine for not wearing a PRC sticker on the front of your shirt that could fall off at any point. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's pretty tough right there. But let's talk positive stuff. Let's talk saddle bronc riding round 10.
Yeah.
Colby Wingchuck, 89.5. Chase Brooks, Zeke Thurston, your average champion, your world champion. He just goes in and splits first in the last round, 89.5. Sage Newman, who came in with the league coming in. Sage, you know, had this phenomenal regular season, sets a regular season record, and then just gets off to a slow start first couple of rounds and never got the momentum rolling till the end there. And by that time, Zeke had just got a stranglehold on that average and on his third world title. He gets another gold buckle after being out of the world championship race for a few years. So pretty good night of saddle bronc riding. Jim Boy, what'd you think?
Oh, yeah, it's fun watching. I just enjoyed watching it. Somebody said, I seen a comment earlier this morning about, you know, there's no excitement in the bronc riding because you knew Zeke had it won. Well, just because it didn't come down to the 10th round between, I mean, you can't say it wasn't still good watching, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a good ride is a good
I just
ride.
looked over Dawson going 87 on Womanizer, you know.
Yeah.
And here's the other one. Wyatt Casper, he finally showed up. I had him on one of my fantasy teams.
He was on my fantasy team. He showed up in round 10.
And when I picked Wyatt, my philosophy on the bronc riding for Pro Fantasy Rodeo for several years has been you need to be a big, strong Rod Warren type guy to get by all them rank horses in 10 days. Well, hell, Dawson Hay come in at the bottom of the pack and proved me wrong this week. He just gassed on it and went after them. And so I guess I'm going to have to change my philosophy up there that you don't have to be the big, strong. And Clint, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I think that used to win the average. It took a Rod Warren type. And that's one reason I went with Wyatt, with Wyatt, what's his face there?
What's his name there?
Logan and Dawson, and neither one of them guys are very big. Half those bronc riders are pretty small, you know, but they're sure riding better. You know, I don't know if they're using better glue or what, but they're sure riding good.
Well, when Logan drew that Garden City gal that I raised, when I seen that the other night before I went to bed, I had to go in my son's room and I told him, I said, hey, Logan got Garden City gal. And I knew as compact as he is that he would just, he would stay back. You got to stay back on her. And, or you'll just go over the front. And I don't know if people seen my pictures I put on my Facebook page of when I bucked her as a 3-year-old at a ranch rodeo. And that kid had a night latch and was hanging on over the front of her. Man, that's her MO, is have them swoops. And, but no, them, if your last name, and I liked the buckle ceremony the other night when they gave the mic to old Pops, and he steps up there and he says, all I got to say is that was some cowboy shit.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, when you talk about just like Dawson's ride on Killer Bee, did you watch how he got back and set his feet? He stayed back. He never let that horse pull him. Like that horse pulls a lot of guys out over the front end, you know, because she kicks so hard over her. She drops really hard and kicks. He really got back and he saddled and set his feet. And that's the reason he rode him as well as he did, because he went to that horse really hard. Like and when he got off and he was asked, he said, I don't really remember that much of it. When a ride is that rank and you're doing it, that's honestly, there's been a lot of my rides that's the way it went. You got off and it went fast. And I don't remember that many jumps of it. You know, it was just because of the reaction and doing everything correctly. That's how you get
muscle memory
like that. Yeah. Yeah. And I know Rod Warren, he won the average 4 times in the saddle bronc ride. And Rod was really, really dedicated to spurring horses out and staying close and tight. And he made good rides. He didn't win a lot of money in the rounds, but he sure won a lot of averages, you know, and, you know, hats off to him. He did a great job doing it. But, you know, saying that he's got to be a big guy to do it, I guess not anymore, because these guys ride so stinking good. They really do. They've got the time and the money to be able to take the time to work out and really dedicate themselves. The money's gotten so good that they don't mind taking the time to really go to the gym and work out and get in excellent shape where we didn't before. I don't think I didn't when I first started at all.
That's what I noticed. I mean, they talked to Stetson Wright before. Trevor did an interview with him, and he's like, "How are you feeling? You know, you're on your 19th and 20th head tonight. You know, and are you sore?" He goes, "I feel better than I did beginning of the week." And what I've noticed is these rough stock riders. I mean, there's some that are banged up, bruised up. The bull riders, especially. You know, what Donnie say last night? I don't look for a lot of them to get rode tonight, you know.
Yeah.
They're banged, but the bareback riders, the saddle bronc riders, yeah, you got some guys sore and limping out of there, but the majority of them, I'm sure they're sore, but they look like they're physically fit. They're they're training like professional athletes now. They're conditioning their body to take this abuse over those 10 days. And it's paying off for them because, like I said, there's no downtime. You take a guy like R.C. Cunningham in the bareback, like I said, he's got to go get on for $1 million in 7 days. He can't afford to be sore from 10 days before. So,
well, and Tony, I would add, you know, we talked to Champion Living Fitness last year. What happens when you train like that is you train your body to recover faster and better. And so it just prepares them for this type of scenario, which ideally everybody gets to this point so that they have to recover for the next night and the next night and the next night. So it's more than just being physically fit. It's training your body to recover fast also.
Well, and they're going through the process. They're having treatments. They're doing all that. Before, I mean, it was you left the Thomas and Mack, you went to the Gold Coast. Yeah. You drank beer till 2 a.m. and you got up and you did it again. You know, that's just was the rodeo mentality, and it's evolved to where they are professional athletes. They're treating it as such, and they're making livings doing it. It's not just something that you're doing to make money and then you're doing a job on the side to pull in money to go to the next rodeo. Yeah. And, you know, so like I say, Zeke goes in there, wins his 3rd world title after a hiatus of a few years because, you know, the rights have kind of, you know, had a stranglehold on the saddle bronc riding. But you look at the guys this year, Zeke wins his 3rd gold buckle. Lefty Holman from California, he doesn't miss that re-ride horse out. And Zeke's got a battle for the gold buckle with Lefty come to 10th round. Both Hay boys. I mean, Logan Hay, what did he win 3 rounds in a row? 1 second. I mean, he won a boatload of money. Stetson, Brody Kress, who's won the average multiple times already, and he had an off year. You know,
they just didn't draw as well.
Well, and that was you could see that too. Even though they're the best horses in the world in each pin, there's still a top and a bottom, and you've got to draw at the top of that and utilize them to win that money.
Well, and I think we saw that a little bit in the bareback riding. I mean, Cole Reiner came in at the top of the world, and he performed well, and just didn't draw the top ones.
Yeah, because I think Cole's one of the great bareback riders that's coming up. Like great bareback rider. He does things very, you know.
I am biased. I've been talking about Cole for 3 years, and only because he rodeoed at Casper College here in my hometown. So it's great to see him, and next year.
Right.
You know, Heidi would be a Rocker Steiner fan if he went to school at Casper.
I don't know. I would offer some of my marketing tips, though.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's good.
Listen, I ride for the brand.
I tell you what, in Rockers, for the whole deal, or you know, all weekend. I mean, it was like it was like Trump. You either loved him or hated him, is what it seemed like on social media. And I laughed. Somebody put a meme, and it's a fake Facebook page. It's a parody page. It shows a picture of Rockers. It said, "That's the ugliest breakaway roper I've ever seen." It just with the long hair, and I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, "Oh my goodness!"
Facebook really took off. My favorite one is the new pickup line. "Excuse me, is your name Rocker Steiner? Because you look fine."
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh, I tell you what, and on the Rocker story. I don't know Rocker, but I know Sid, Drew Luke, and he one of the nicest, most, you know, we talked about it in an industry where everybody looks the same. We all wear hats, we all wear starch clothes. Fallon Taylor did it in the barrel race. You got to stand out and get eyes on you. Sid did it, Rocker's doing it, and you know, and another thing, his family is groomed to be a champion. You hear that? Oh, he's got all this and that. I don't care how much you're given, you have to put the work and the effort and the time in, and that young man does it. He does. He's in the practice pen. He's in the gym. He was a champion wakeboarder before he was a teenager, so he knows what it's like to be a champion and to win. So you got to put the effort in, and I will give him that for sure.
Absolutely, he's and just like you said, if you didn't know Sid in the arena, I mean outside the arena, you didn't really know Sid because he was this kind and gentle guy you ever want to. Just nice, wonderful to talk to. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I mean, and
you see that persona
the same exact way. Yeah.
You see that persona on TV. Oh, he's got to be just a, like no, he was one of the most humble, nicest guys you'd ever meet. I mean,
yes.
The first time Luke introduced me to him, we were at a rodeo in San Bernardino. I saw him again that time at the finals. He came up, and I mean, like I said, this is early 2000. Hey, this is my dad. We're going to go to the go-around ceremony. I mean, he didn't have to give me 2 seconds, and he was genuine, and they're genuine people. So
they really are. Yeah, very, very good people. I really enjoy them. They enjoy winning, and they get everything to 100% extreme everywhere, all the way.
They got the foot mashed on the throttle the whole time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about somebody that had their foot mashed on the throttle in the tie-down rope, and Caleb Schmidt.
Oh yeah.
He goes back to back, wins his 4th gold buckle. And
did your heart sink a little bit though last night when he run that calf down the pendulum ways? They said he's a good calf, but when he roped him and got off, I'm like, oh crap, is he going to get up? Like,
yeah, it looked like he almost got lawn darted right there, and just
he's one of those quiet champions, though, isn't he? Like,
he's the opposite end of the spectrum of rocker. I mean, you've got rodeo, you've got the opposite end of the spectrum right there. My heart breaks for Shad. The young man has been to the finals 4 times, and he just can't seem to get the ball rolling at the NFR. I mean, he had that one good run where he tied the intermediate record. He's 6-6, but he's come in leading it a couple times. He won the world in 20, and he was, Marty Yates is a missed flank away in the 10th round from getting that gold buckle from Shad. Yeah. And it's coming. One day he's going to get over that hurdle. But, man, I don't know. As long as Caleb Schmidt's within striking distance and he's got pockets at horse, it's going to be hard-pressed because he was mathematical. He wins the first round, wins the second round, 3rd and 4th in round 3, 4th and 5th in round 4, 3rd in round 5, 3rd in round 6, 4th in round 7, 4th in round 8. So he places the first 8 rounds, and then he goes 9-5 and 8-8 to just cinch up the average title and win another gold buckle. I mean, he wins the average by 11.1 seconds.
Tiffany just commented that he didn't drag 10 calves a total of 10 inches while Caleb was tying.
No,
that's a solid horse.
Well, but you know what? If you look at how Pockets is and you look at Caleb, their personality, I mean, very quiet, very 19,000 people, noise, everything else. Pockets does his job, rides out,
he does.
Like, okay,
Caleb, watch him with his whole he stands there very relaxed too, that horse.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it,
his eyes aren't bugged out. Look at everything. He just got this calm aura about him. Kind of like Jim Boy and I when we're in college rodeo meetings together, just had that calm aura about us.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, the production meetings, how calm I come in and everything.
Yeah.
But my opinion on Shad, you don't win that much money throughout the year not knowing how to handle different situations. And Shad has been taught. I mean, I've watched him in some of the rodeos on TV. He knows how to score and win in different situations with different calves. So I wouldn't, and I said this before a few years ago on this show, I wouldn't be afraid to put him on my team next year because he will get it figured out there. It all clicks. He knows how to win. It's not a hidden fact. I think throughout the year, he handles the different situations better than a lot of other guys.
Right.
He's just got to settle down, not settle down, but figure out the mixture, get the mixture right.
Yeah.
Well, and so Josh and I were talking about this. There's so many things that come into play once you get to the NFR. I mean, clearly he knows how to handle it, or he wouldn't be here how many times? 4 or 5 times?
Well, 19, 20, 20, Well, he's been there 19, 20, 21, 22. He's been there every year since he's bought his card. I mean, he won the high school finals and then won Pendleton the same week. So he knows how to win.
I mean, it's just that whole week is just a different ballgame. And I think one of the things that we've talked about here is just how many obligations these contestants have during the week. I mean, so when I was rodeoing, I had a very clear pregame and post-game routine. And I'm guessing that most of these guys at this level also do. And that is basically just thrown to hell in a handbasket. Because you got to be here, you got to sign autographs, you got to be here, you got to do interviews. Like, you got to do all the things that most of the year aren't in your pregame and postgame routine.
True. But you don't have to go travel to another rodeo in between each performance, too. So you're there the whole time. Yeah.
That is true.
Heidi, you kind of touched on it there, all the different obligations, signings, and meetings and everything. And most of you probably know this, but the Vegas crud was worse this year than it's probably ever been. Everybody I talked to, we're supposed to have, won't call her out, but she got ran over by a bareback horse at Pendleton. We were supposed to have her on the show the morning. I texted her the next night. I'm like, number one, you stood me up. Or number one, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Number two, you stood me up. Number three, I hope your boyfriend did good at the rope. And she said he legged up. She was sicker than a dog. But and that's when I talked to Tom Miller yesterday, and he was talking about Emily. She doesn't do the things that she did her first year there. Her first year there, if somebody asked her to be at a signing, boy, she is at them. If somebody asked her to be on a show, and you have all the different shows on there, ours is the best one, of course.
Right.
But I mean, like, you have the Lucia show, all the Cowboy Channel stuff,
Gage,
everything. He said that first year Emily was doing everything if she was asked to be there. Now she's kind of curtailed it back. But if you can imagine autographing for, I'm sure she did a cinch signing, the number of people, I've seen the lines of people for Tough Cooper,
hours.
And so you're shaking hands, you're taking pictures, you're breathing, and it'd probably be a good idea to just have a bottle of Clorox there every, I don't know, but I think this year was worse than normal. So hopefully that's something that, and I've told people, before you go out there, you better load up on emergency and airborne and all that before you go, and then maybe take some decks and
a little ivermectin and Dex and maybe an SMZ or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I guess Tom was telling me we have a company who does IVs. Like they were giving the contestants free IVs. If you want the good stuff or whatever, I guess for normal people they're paying like $150 for an IV or something, but they were giving them to the contestants free of charge, I guess. So.
Yeah. Well, but I'm thinking also is last year. Okay, so 2020, in the heart of the whole pandemic, we were in Arlington. Last year we were back in Vegas, but they still had some stuff, and they said, the crowd was good. People were happy to be out, but from what I've heard, I was out there working for Silver Lining. She said it was packed. I mean, people, you couldn't walk through the convention center. I mean, it was miserable. It was just, you were so tight. Everybody just it was like somebody just opened the floodgates and everybody was there.
So they were still wearing masks last year, right?
Remember, because we talked about the mask police.
Yeah, last year the masks were pretty well required at most places, or they'd be harping on you. You didn't have to, but they were dang sure wanting them. It was more lax this year, but I'm guessing in Clint's day, when he'd go to Thompson Mack, if he's seen people putting stuff, he might see them putting different stuff in their arm than they are nowadays.
Yeah, they were putting in some fluids, but it was different.
they were hydrating a different way.
Things change though, Jim Boy.
Thank goodness.
It's professional rodeo, Jim Boy. Now professional. The key's professional now. Oh,
sorry, I couldn't resist.
Hey, speaking of Tough Cooper, I mean, I knew he was injured a couple of weeks before with that quad injury. I think he got hurt down a rope in San Angelo, but it really affected him this week, especially when he had to go for go rounds. But I remember when Tough Cooper was a kid in the group, and now he's the old cagey veteran in there, and the youth movement in that tie down rope and that Ty Harris, John Dowsh. I mean, you can't even consider Marty Yates the young guy anymore. He's got too many qualifications. No. You got, Maka Murphy, Henry, Riley Webb.
Kincaid.
These kids are fast. And I mean, being out here in Texas now and taking my daughter to these breakaway jackpots where they got the 10 and under calf ropings, it's not going to get any slower. I don't know how they can get any faster than the tie-down roping, but it's going to happen because these kids are machines out here. Yeah. And that event is, you're watching it get revolutionized and right in front of our eyes, and it was impressive. And the young guard is there; they're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, just like that, the Kincaid Henry, the Macon Murphy, the Riley Webbs, those three right there, those three are amazing. Those guys just showed up and went to finals this year. I mean, you didn't even hardly ever hear about them before this, Going.
So I had
to make a run.
Yeah.
Just all of a
I
sudden.
had an opportunity to interview Kincaid at the college finals, and he was the nicest kid.
Yeah.
Just very down to earth. It was on one of my live feeds, and I just I walk around and kind of ambush people and have them talk to me live on Facebook. And he was super nice, polite. The one thing he really enjoyed about the college finals was that he was around kids his own age because he'd been going to so many PRCA rodeos, but he was super nice and obviously did well at that level too. So are more kids, Jim Boy, you can probably answer this. Are more kids like doing pro rodeos and college rodeo at the same time than they have before?
It's definitely grown since I was in there. I promise you. I mean, when I was in there, I knew like Britt Buckus and some of them guys were sure enough doing it. Blair Burke, but the numbers and dang it, to some of these kids want to go to the bright lights of Texas these days, and you can't hardly blame them. I like, for me, recruiting here in Southwest Kansas at Garden City, if I can just keep the good kids in Kansas, but I just try to, if I go north, if I'm trying to get a kid from up north, I'm just hoping I can find a kid who wants to come south a little ways and doesn't have to go all the way to Texas. But Garden City is a good place to be when you want to enter Denver, go to the qualifier. So.
You're right there.
Yeah, you're close.
Not too far.
I think it's really important too. I think before there was a choice, like you could either college rodeo or you could make a run at the pro shows. And it's not really a choice anymore. You can do both.
Well, I think what's helped facilitate that for them, Heidi, is the technology. What we're able to do right here is these laptops, these computers, these phones. They can go to school. They can be up at Denver, and they can still be doing their schoolwork. It's not actual. You don't have to physically be on campus. I mean, and it kind of started when I was finishing coaching at Cal Poly. Then when I got back into it 3 years later at Fresno, and it evolved a lot in those 3 years. Where there were kids at junior colleges out in California that the time they come to the campus, the school they were attending was for that college rodeo. And then they wouldn't see them again until the next college rodeo, all because of the computers. Now, some of those kids probably couldn't log into their own accounts because of that. Somebody else may have been, they might not need to do retinal scans or thumb IDs, but
that doesn't hapen.
No, never. But I think that's why it's evolved where, these talented young kids can go, you look at that. Haven Medjid in 2019 wins the college finals and is a world champion tie-down roper. Shad Mayfield comes out of high school, wins the high school finals, makes his finals that first year. So it's just, these kids have these opportunities. And like talking about just here in Stephenville, the team roping, I can throw a rock out my door and hit a number 10 healer that's 15 years old probably. It's just Tiffany, I'm not a bad influence. Just ask me, I'll tell you what a good influence I am. Your husband loves hanging out with me, Tiffany.
Yeah, we don't need to go there.
It's all wholesome. Hey,
I thought you were going to say it's all live.
Hey, I represent that remark. Hey, talking about education and where calculus and trigonometry and geometry all finally had to be put to work in real life, I was trying to figure out who's going to be your world champion barrel racer because there were so many scenarios going into last night where it was just like, who do you think is going to win? I'm going to throw a dart at the board and hope it's right. But it is Haley Kinzel who comes out, smokes a run. She 13:35. She had 2 down barrels. She's 13:35, wins a round, and that sealed up her 4th gold buckle. That right there.
Made up what she would have normally won in the average. She made up in go around wins, and she knew that she had to. She knew she had to.
What's crazy is she still wound up pulling a check in the average with 2 down barrels. But yeah, she wins round 9, round 10. She's 4th in round 8. She splits rounds. Let's see, I think it's round 6. Or round 6, splits 1st and 2nd in round 6, wins round 2 and 3. I mean, so when she hit that
riding the rodeo horse.
Yeah. Jim, what? Oh, that was good. But actually, what might have actually hurt the other contestants was Haley taking a barrel down in the 1st round, because that just let her now she knows I've got to be all gas, no brake if I want to get this gold buckle. And then Jordan Rollo taking a barrel down early in the week. And it just seemed like Rollo never kind of found his legs for the go-rounds. And yet he placed, 5 times, but he never won a round, I don't think. And then Lisa, everybody's kind of was pulling for Lisa. She gets a barrel in round numbers, was it 8? Or 7?
And still came back strong. Like that horse is is awesome. And is young, so there's lots left.
I think that horse will help her get the gold buckle that eluded her on Louis. So,
yeah. Did you just see what Tiffany said?
Yeah, Tiffany is yes.
But I mean, you gotta feel bad. You gotta feel bad for Haley. I mean, she like she said, I think that was taken out of context. I think some people thought she was talking about one particular horse, and she hadn't even seen that run that they were putting the comment toward.
They can't.
And so, but she's right. There is a difference. I mean, there's a difference in horses that can go handle all kinds of different grounds. And you go to them barrel racing jackpots where it's perfectly manicured, perfect. And you have 2 tractors going but at every drag between every 5. And so there is a difference. And she didn't mean it, bless her heart. And for everybody to come at her like they did. And I know I have an inside track as to knowing how bad it was for her. Like, she was in tears.
Oh, I can only imagine, because that's not who she is anyway. That's not even remotely who she is.
Yeah.
To tear people down like that.
Well, and that's what happens in our soundbite world. If people don't hear the whole interview, they hear sound bites. And we're in this culture of, oh my God, they said it. Let's go after. I hate to say it, it's that cancel culture. We're
good God. Cancel. Let's just pray that nobody takes sound bites from this show.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but if they cancel me, the only ones that are going to know I'm canceled are you 3 right now, or actually 23 other people watching.
20 people watching.
What are they going to tell you? Take my house away from me? It was an old 1-room schoolhouse. I mean, it cost me $3,000 when I bought it and moved in here. So
that's a deal. You got to have some equity now.
My wife wants to be canceled so she gets her dining room table back. She'd like to be canceled for the next 354 days. Oh my goodness!
But I tell
you, not able to do it yesterday, but I got to get on stage at a concert and dance yesterday. I got called out of a crowd. Took her to Granbury to a Christmas concert. Michael Hicks, great show, and he called me up on stage, and yeah, I did not disappoint myself. Yeah, Charlotte's got video. She actually posted some of it on Facebook somewhere. So. I'm
gonna need you to send that to me. I can take some highlights out of that.
Hey, I'm a legend in my own mind. Got to be somewhere. Oh, hey, we're gonna talk about legends.
Shirley Morgan. She, they said she's an awesome person. Her and her husband both. They said and for her to go win the average.
That horse is really cool looking. So the other thing I heard in her interview is that, like, she gives all the credit to that horse. Even her husband loves that horse. Her husband carried unsaddled the horse and carried the saddle back to the trailer so he could take a break.
Yeah.
But the saddles only weigh like 5 pounds nowadays.
I know, but still.
But he did a good thing, Drew. Give him credit. Give him credit. Well, and what's impressive is you even watch her, and she still wins 3rd in the 10th round, knowing she's got, all she got to do is get around these barrels.
She still went for it.
She's got almost a second and a half lead over Bailey in second place in the average, and she still went with it. She was a 13:51 yet last night. Still pulls a $18,000 check to go with the $75,000 she won. But that interview was really cool.
I will say, I think it's pretty amazing that Haley has won so many world titles that she has. And it was refreshing to see that there were some other people in the mix this year.
Well, the first year she won it, I think shouldn't she battle out with Nellie Miller, the first one. And then for 2 years, she just dominated everybody. And then Jordan comes last year and Rollo. And then Jordan Rollo kind of had the inside track all year long. But then, and I don't know the whole story of it, did Haley not ride? She didn't ride Sister very much this year. She just pulled her out for 10 days, didn't she? Or a month, or maybe been a month. And okay, and it goes win the gold buckle. And I remember Haley from the college finals. She was the sweetest, nicest young lady there, And so I think what was said was taken out of context. And then again, and I didn't see it, but I think Joe, being Joe, interviewing when it said he likes to fire people up. You want to talk about a spoon to stir a pot? He just kind of added fire to that. And
I think Flint was worse. He's like, I don't care. I'm retiring.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm the same point. If I get fired from this show, I'll just, continue on coaching. If I get fired from there, I'll become a rodeo judge.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Remember the go-around ceremony when they used to have it at the Gold Coast and they had the room that was about the size of my kitchen? And I mean, you go up, you get your buckle, you talk a little bit. Now they've got this massive area that, and if you leave the Thomas and Mack and you want to go watch the buckle ceremony, you're already late because everybody at the South Point that room was filled up during the perf. People don't leave. They've taken something as cool as a buckle that you want for that round and turn it into an extravagant show. That's how rodeos evolve.
They need to have that upstairs, maybe in the ballroom.
It's getting to where that's where it needs to be. But then again, it pulls them away from the tables and all that fun stuff. So, but we want to talk about legendary. What about Stetson, right? You guys? Mm-hmm. And he had a shot at the million if he could have rode his bull and split that round with Tristan Hutchin. He'd have hit $1 million for his career earnings. I know that all around he's got 700 and some thousand because it doesn't count his Extreme Bulls money, but he's at 900 and some thousand for the year. Woo! Gets his second bull riding world title. Claims the average in the bull riding goes 8 out of 10, which is a pretty good feat there. And, just puts his stamp on his fourth all-around title.
Yeah, he's amazing, huh? He's a cowboy. He loves every bit of it. You can tell he eats, sleeps, drinks, rides bulls, broncs, and loves being a cowboy. He loves the all-around buckle because it says cowboy on it.
I heard when they were interviewing him last night, he goes, it's a one buckle that says cowboy on it.
Cowboy.
Yeah. But I will give props to all the bull riders. Tristan Hutchins was 93,000 last night on one ride. Just nobody else rides. But he's
CJ's boy.
He's CJ. CJ had 2 boys there this year with Kai Hamilton, his former student.
Kai, yeah.
And they won 3rd and 4th in the average. Tristan wins 4 rounds and wins second in another one. So he placed in 5 rounds, and he only rode 5 bulls. But the worst placing he did was a second. He won first on the other 4. He had a pretty good week right there.
Yesterday.
Wins second in the average. He's trying to go back-to-back average titles. Tiffany Aragon, Tristan doesn't need money from me for riding Colts anymore. Oh, geez. Tiffany, come on now. CJ was just paying him to hang out with you.
Donating that back.
Yeah. I think CJ was just paying Tristan, please hang out with my wife. She's mean to me.
Did you see the deal? Jayton showed me a deal last night. I don't know if it's TikTok or what, but they have the mechanical bull out in that tent out front before you get in there. Mm-hmm. And the other night they had Kai and Stetson. They was watching JB Mooney's little boy riding the bucking machine. And it's kind of a setup deal, I'm sure, but they're like, oh, we take some pointers from him, and then that was the night they went, they split the round, or they went 1 and 2 or whatever. I thought that was pretty neat. I don't know if that was a different night when that was actually filmed or not, and then put together, but pretty neat.
But it kind of tied in really well.
I will say that I feel like Kai was fixing to score really good, and that bull just lost his hind end. And I was excited about that ride. He looked really good. The bull looks really strong. I don't know how to score any of it, but it looked good from a fan standpoint.
I was scared he was going to get mashed.
I thought that bull, it almost looked like that bull reminded me of kind of that bodacious, that jump and suck back, and Kai rode him, and then that bull comes back and loses his footing. And I thought the same thing.
He was going to go.
I thought he was going to come over, and Kai just kind of, okay, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sad. I mean, you never know what would have happened on that bull, but it didn't work out on his re-ride. So
no, but
unfortunately, yeah.
But I tell you what, Tristan went home. I mean, like I said, I looked over at my wife. I'm like, hey, so Stetson just won 73 or 75,000 for the average, and Tristan Hutchins just won 93,000 for a go-round win. Go figure. But I tell you what, I like it. Bull riding this year, all those guys. I mean, I know we had 16, and some guys got hurt, and some guys are pretty banged up. But I tell you what, all those guys belong there, 16 through 1. They belong there. But those top guys put on a show this year. They really did. The stock was outstanding. The Cowboys and Cowgirls performed great all week. Hats off to the Cowboy channel, because there's Facebook groups and there's stuff that bash them and this and that, but there wasn't too long ago where you didn't know what happened till 3 hours after. $250,000 in 10 days. I'm going to make $250,000 in my lifetime. All right. Yes. But the Cowboy channel, Teton Ridge, they're putting a lot of content out there for our industry to grow and continue to grow, because like we said, our pool or our circle isn't as big as we think it is. In our world, we think it's huge, but in the scope of reality, it's not.
You're looking at 1 to 2 degrees of separation.
We need the Fallon Taylors they've got to stand out to bring people, put eyes on our sport. But I'm thankful for the fact that we got NFR content 24/7 for 10 days. It was awesome. And so very thankful for that. Things like Pro Fantasy Rodeo, Casey Jones with this Pro Fantasy Rodeo deal, that was awesome. We got to have our league and answer Beverly's question, explain our league. You go into Pro Fantasy Rodeo, you build your team. Heidi created a league. We have a code, and we posted it at the beginning of the, for the finals. It's another $20 on top of the regular game, and you join that league. We got 21 teams. We were able to talk to Cinch. We're going to get some cool, stuff for go-rounds, and that was on us. A league that has 10 people in her, they get a Montana Silversmith buckle. It just says Pro Fantasy Rodeo League Champion. We're going to get some Cinch swag. I'm already thinking bigger and better next year. I'm going to talk to a saddle maker. I want to be able to give our own Pro Fantasy Rodeo NFR Hangover League saddle. I just think it's a really cool concept. It's a chance for me to, I'm not going to say even me to win a saddle. I can't even be in the hardly top 10 of my own league, but I'm going to get a producer saddle or something.
Can we have a last place prize?
Yeah, I think we should. No, we should have a last place prize in our league. But no, Beverly, that's how you do it. Just go create a pro fantasy team, and then you join the league, and we'll be ahead of the game. We won't wait till the day before to create our league and have a code for it.
Yeah, we'll work on that next year. I will also add that there were some questions, and maybe also I didn't really understand how it worked, but just because you join a league doesn't mean that it takes you out of the main game, right?
No.
You can pick one team and pay $20 to get in this league and get in the tattoo league and get in all the leagues, and you're still in that main game too. So you're always in it to win the big prize from Pro Fantasy Rodeo, which this year was the trailer and the truck, and all the other kind of prize offers. It just
and they got prize packages. Like I say, I was in the league. I was in our league. I was in the league. CJ Aragon got me in. A prize package.
Depends. I mean, honestly, it depends on how much you want to spend to play. because you can get in the different prize packages, different leagues. But I will say this was my first year playing. Listen, the only reason it's my first year is because $100 is a lot of money. And
hey, you can't win if you don't enter, Heidi.
I know.
And the government's printing more of it every day. We're sending it to Ukraine, but they're printing more of it every day.
This week reminded me of when I was still rodeoing and I maxed out a credit card rodeoing. I may have to go to the bank tomorrow after this week. I bought 3 teams and 3 regular teams. Did the Buckle League. I bought a team every night. I did the Final 5 game, which that was looking good until last night's perf. But yeah, I may have to go see my banker tomorrow.
Your banker's like, you're entering again, Jim Boy. I saw a video of your bulldog last summer. I can't believe you racked up that much entry fee.
Well, this is a lot safer than entering this. Well,
and like we said, it's fun. It adds another element. It gets fan interaction because you're vested. I was vested when Kai got on that re-ride last night. You know, I'm vested in that ride, and it reminds me of being a college rodeo coach when, you know, I never got on a bull, but I rode a lot of them from the back of the chutes with my students. So
yeah, absolutely.
But no,
I know we didn't talk a lot about this, Clint. I'm totally changing the subject with no fancy lead-in like Tony has given us all day. Clint, it's too easy. Clint used to be, so your wife messaged me over here, so I'm getting all the juice. But Clint was the judging director for the PRCA for 5 years, which I think, Jim Boy, you mentioned that earlier. But can you tell us what that means? What does that mean?
It means there's 140 to 150 judges that put in for rodeos, over 600 rodeos that I was assigning them to, and teaching them at seminars how to judge. So it's definitely a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then, you know, trying to make them accountable and talking to the contestants and the stock contractors, the committees. It's a job that not really anybody really wants, but it's something that's got to be done, you know. And it's hard because, as you guys know, at a normal rodeo, there's 2 judges, and there's still 7-8 events, you know, that they've got to know all the rules for, and they may, you know, then try and split them up to where you got maybe a good rough stock judge and a good timed event judge at a rodeo, just to, you know, balance it out. Isn't always the way it is. You know, there was times when I was assigning judges in July and August where I get done assigning judges and I didn't have judges for several rodeos. I mean, I just needed some warm bodies in the arena because they're all used up. Nobody else is there. I mean, so many rodeos are going on and there's not very many judges. So, and it doesn't pay that great. So there you go.
That sounds familiar, right, guys?
Yeah.
and I'll throw this, and you're dealing with multiple what's the word I'm looking, personalities?
Yes. Yes. That's a good way to say it. Yeah.
So how many PRCA judges also judge other levels? Most of them? I mean, like high school rodeo, college rodeos.
Yes.
Because I recognize some of the NFR judges from the CNFR.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And, you know, I judge high school. I judge Region 3 high school region up here, you know, but it's, to me, I like doing that just to help them, if I can help them and build them up and to get them to come on to the pros or continue rodeoing as a career. You know, you got to build them up when they're young. And I think the PRCA drops the ball a lot there. I don't know how much time and effort they spend in helping kids grow, you know, not like they should, you know, to me. And that's
I remember in Casper, there used to be like a judges seminar after the check-in meeting. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, there was. Yeah.
I didn't ever go.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't planning on it.
They require, you probably don't know this, Heidi, they require announcers to go to the judging seminars.
They do. Great
idea, because the last thing you guys need as judges is some announcer standing up there undermining your authority every chance they get.
Right. Yeah. If they don't know the rules, they're up there announcing, and something goes wrong, and they've got to explain what happened out there. A lot of times they can't because they just make it up because they're really good at that. But
tell me this: what's your opinion? Like watching the rodeo, and there's a jerk down, and Joe B says rule infraction, no time.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on how should we be explaining that? Do we show it on TV? Should we explain it better?
We spend a lot of time on calf roping, with tie down roping. When I was a supervisor, we spent more time on it than anything else because of the fact that there's the telephones and the cameras and everything ruin it for everybody. It seems like these days, because as soon as something happens, they put it on so everybody can see it. So the jerk down, like you said, I don't know if there's a correct way of telling the public that they just jerked a calf over backwards, and so they're gonna, and he landed square on his head, so they're gonna disqualify that cowboy. I don't know the best way about explaining that or getting it out to the public. I really don't. They never did really come up with a good way to say it, other than it was a rule infraction of an animal, and they can't say animal abuse, because that even makes it worse. So I don't know what the exact answer is and exactly how they should say it, but they should be saying something rather than, because there's a lot of people shrugging their shoulders out there.
I think we need to be saying, we do have rules in place to protect the animals, to help the animals, to give the animals somewhat of an advantage,
Yes.
When I run into people and they don't know a lot of things, I tell them we train these animals. They, me as a stock contractor, even as a goat contractor, you might be surprised at the questions I get. Is that cruel? Them poor little goats, and I'm like, well, we train them. Some goats will holler and some goats don't. They just get used to it, and they're used to it. And, so I don't know. I think there is a better way that we can say we're trying to protect the animal a little bit, and there are rules against how they're handled.
Yeah, and I think there's some. It's like delicate verbiage, right? You want to explain that oftentimes cowboys can control how they throw their slack and what happens to the calf when you do it this way and what happens to the calf when you do it that way. But you also, most of the times when that happens, it's not like they're not doing it on purpose, clearly, because they're going to be disqualified. So there's a lot of special language that can be thrown out about, like, animal welfare is important to us, and we have rules in place to prevent animals from getting injured.
Yes.
Did y'all see the segment they had with Scott Dornkamp? Talking about the LA City Council deal and how they
I did. I did reach out to a couple of people with Western Justice, and I didn't get a response.
Well, they got it through on council. They and they're going to use gray wording. They can't use lariats, lassos, different things, and it's kind of basically the same way they start out getting the circus band, Ringling Brothers, and but he said there'll be a new council voted in here after the first year, I think, and so there'll be a chance to kind of get things rectified. But we got to support, anytime, and I've done the email thing in and talked to the city council and there before when they've asked for that. So don't think that it can't just, if it starts there, it's going to spread.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unfortunately, it is. Hate saying it because that's where my roots are. But California is a cancer, and if we don't stop it out there, it's just going to bleed. It's going to bleed. It's going to bleed out. So,
yeah,
I would like to see the Cowboy Channel, the PRC, or something. When I used to go, we used to do it quite a bit around here, and we haven't done it for a while. But we used to go to different grade schools, and at one time, I had a boy, Clint Lanning, when he was going to school here for me. His bulldogging horse, we could actually put a horse flank on that horse and pull the flank strap tight, and he would just stand there. So it's a great example of you cannot make a horse buck. If he doesn't want to buck, you can't make him buck. That was awesome. When I seen the kids do that one day, I was like, hey, what the hell are y'all doing over there? And they said, no, he just stands here. And he was awesome. I was like, man, the PRCA needs a horse like that to take around and just show him that you cannot make one buck if he doesn't want to.
If they don't want to do it, they won't do it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I'm going to post this link just for everybody. This is the Facebook page for Western Justice, which is the organization that's really kind of fighting on behind the scenes. Well, now they're up front a lot now, as far as, well, a lot of the stuff that you just talked about in LA and the rules and the laws that they're trying to pass to outlaw some of these things. So I posted that link. Just go over there if you're not aware of what is going on. Educate yourself a little bit. There's a lot. It is dangerous, and it can be dangerous to the rest of the rodeo industry, and quite frankly, the agriculture world is coming kind of under the spotlight too. So it starts here.
Well, yeah, I mean it's going to start with rodeo, and then it's just going to bleed out into other aspects of the Western lifestyle, culture, and agriculture. So, we've got a chance with the platforms we have, the Cowboy Channel, Teton Ridge, social media, our platform, to get this information out there, let people know, because it's all fun and games. We've enjoyed the last 10 nights, and I'm glad that I get to share with my daughters, but I want to be able to share with my grandkids and great grandkids. I want this way of life to continue, and education is going to be the biggest key, and getting rid of the disinformation that is being put out there. So,
well, and I think Jack is right. I think all four of us can agree that how they're treated now is vastly different than where we've come from, and better, so much better. And I think that highlighting those things and the changes that have been made, I mean, there's probably going to be more changes made that will strengthen that even more. So I think just being able to educate people and being able to do it tastefully and properly, I suppose, because you can get the wrong spokesperson out there that's not doing it the right way, that doesn't help your cause. So exactly. I think just doing it correctly is going to be really important.
Yeah, and let them know, just like you said, that we are continually working on making it safer and better for the animals as well. No, but this is our livelihood, and if we start killing off the animals that we're using, it's not benefiting us at all. And so if we can maintain the good health and everything on the animals, it's going to help the whole rodeo impact, everything that everybody thinks about it and the way they look at it. So if we can educate them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys, we're up on the 2-hour mark now.
Well,
we've done really good all week to keep us right in that hour block, but we had.
Yeah, I knew today we were going to go way off the rails. We had Clint coming on, and it's been great. We know. I appreciate your knowledge, Clint, from the contestant side, from the NFR when it started in Vegas to where it's gone now. We had so much to cover with the world titles and average titles. Appreciate you being on here. I mean,
thanks for having me.
Some amazing guests. We had Casey Jones, we had Drew Stewart, Garrison Panzer, Randy Smuts, Clint Corey. Trisha Price was scheduled, but she, got run over by the South Point tornado, we'll call it. The South Point tornado got her, but I cannot thank you again, Heidi and Jim Boy, for you guys starting this in 20, getting to be on it and getting to do this with you guys. I really enjoyed it. And this is fun, but it's not just also fun, but it's about educating it's an avenue. Social media has let us get out there, and there may be somebody that's never been around rodeo that might follow one of us for a different reason on our page, and they follow this show, and it brings new eyes to rodeo. So it's been a great 12 shows, 12 days doing it with you guys. Like I say, Clint, thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday to be on here with us. I appreciate it. I'm sure I'll see you around town for sure here.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Clint, did Bev come up with a question?
Oh, that's right.
And I'd like to tell everybody that's watching, if you enjoyed this,
you said yes.
Share it on your pages and get the word out there. They can go back and watch the previous shows, and it just helps the viewership. It helps our numbers look better, and it kind of makes us want to maybe come back and do it again. Don't ask me for a few weeks, especially.
Yeah. But let's not talk about that for a little while.
Beverly's question.
Okay. Here's the question. So Beverly has a question, and we're going to give away. Sorry, what are we going to give away?
They'll have their choice of either a loading dose of Summit for their horse,
Okay.
a loading dose of pure Summit for their dog, or a 30-day supply of Eterna Pure. Sorry, I'm so sick.
The crud. Yeah.
I feel it.
Have another cigarette, Beverly.
Right?
If you only smoked, it would help. Yeah.
Thank you, South Point.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So what's your question?
So the question is, how old was Clint the year, and what year? How old was he, and what year did he win the NFR average?
Good one. I'm going to type that out.
And they can't Google it either.
Oh, everybody's already Googled it. I guarantee. In what year? And how old?
What year?
Let's see.
When he won the, say that again, when he won the world title?
NFR average.
NFR average.
When he won that big rodeo that just happened.
That one thing.
This is for our fans. It's not for us, right?
It's for the fans. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
No, I knew that. I'm like, because I got the answer, but I don't think I should share it.
Oh, no, it's for the fans. You're not allowed to.
So Jack Phillips.
89.
Yeah.
That's not how old he was when he won the average. Jack?
No, Jack Phillips said 21 years old, 1989.
No.
Don't answer yet, though.
No.
And you are, so shame on
He
me
meant
for not
99.
knowing this. In the saddle bronc riding, correct?
Wait, let's back up.
Bareback?
Back up. It has to be the NFR because he's won. They're right. They're actually right.
What?
You won the average in the IPRA.
That was in the early 80s.
Oh, that's right. So yeah.
Where were you living when you was going to IPRA rodeos?
On the road.
In my car.
Yeah, we stayed at wherever we ended up the end of the week. Yeah.
You stayed at our house, baby.
And we stayed. That's how I met Beverly. I met her way back in the day because her brother rodeoed, and they were from Ohio and Indiana up there. We used to go up there, and if we ended up that week, we stayed at their house. Yeah.
Where'd you grow up at?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you made it out that way to go to IRA rodeos.
Yeah. Dan Daly, he was the IRA champ, and Dan was from Washington and Oregon up there and grew up with us, and we junior rodeoed together, and he was always older, but that's how I ended up going back. Some other guys that rodeoed with us up there, they decided to go back because Dan went back. I don't know how Dan ended up going back there to begin with, but he went back, and so we ended up going back, and that's where we rodeoed for about 2 or 3 years.
My uncle is from Tri-Cities area, I believe.
Oh,
Washington. Yeah. Con Williams.
Oh, yeah, I know Con very well, of course. Yeah.
So that's whose art we promoted at the beginning. Yeah. So he married my mom's twin sister.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
Small world, see?
Yes, it is.
Small world.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Con's a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh. My wife's answering. She's a fan. She's a fan. How old was he?
She said 2001.
Yes. That was the year.
You got half the question right.
Fastest Google wins.
She gets
All
5
right.
days supplement.
Oh,
Well,
my goodness.
while everybody is
I just know he's 24 at his first NFR.
Yep. You're right.
41.
I knew that off 24 at his first NFR. I just knew that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And Google.
No.
No. Did you see that look on it? No.
My wife, maybe 41.
Close. It was 40.
So
Wow.
close, honey. Oh.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
Yep. The Crazy Train song's playing in my head now, Heidi.
It
Ozzy's
is.
Crazy Train. We are off the rails, and I love it.
Charlotte was close. Thank you so much. I'll do a quick wrap up and then we can chat off of the show. But you guys, Tony and Jim Boy, again, thank you for a great year. Season 3, we won't talk about season 4 yet. It's a little early. We need to recover a little bit. But I will say, you guys, we've had a pretty steady live audience all week, averaging right around 35 to 40 viewers. Most of these videos will get upwards of 4,000 views in the next week. So we know that there are people watching and we appreciate that. Listen, if you guys are watching, whether you're watching on the NFR Hangover Facebook page or Bullfrog Creative's Facebook page, you have an opportunity to reach out to us. If this is something that you would like to be involved with or you want to partner with us, you have an opportunity to reach out to us in the next few months and we can set those partnerships up. I know that we are working diligently, although I don't think any of us realize or think that we can make 10 days in Vegas.
Oh, I want to try.
We certainly are willing to try. Yes. So if you are interested in partnering to get us there, reach out to any of the 3 of us. We would love to create that partnership. And we want to thank, of course, again, our partnerships that we currently have, Cinch Jeans and Shirts. We want to thank CeeLo Cinches for partnering with us this year. And, of course, Con Williams with Williams Studio. We appreciate all the support that we get. We appreciate your time of watching. Definitely keep commenting, keep questioning. If you guys see something or that you want to see on here, just shoot us a message and we can do the best we can. None of us have production teams. We only have what we have, and we do the best that we can to make it a little better each year. I'm glad to hear that, something that we look forward to. It is something that we look forward to, and we also are tired at the end of the week. I think the two are not independent of one another. So, Clint, thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys. Did you guys want to give a shout out to anybody? Tony, Jim Boy?
No, just like I said earlier, Heidi, thank you, Jim Boy. This has been a fun format the last 2 years to be part of. As hosting it, I enjoy getting on as a guest. Your first year you did it. I just think we're very fortunate to be able to get Clint on here. The people that we've had on here for our little Facebook show.
I've had so many comments on Coleman Proctor, and he was a great guest. Everybody's been excited about the people that we have on. The people that we have like access to, I think, is what is the driving force behind this working. And so I think that's all to you guys, because none of my contacts have really pulled through.
Oh. And next year I'll get Cody Johnson, my well guy, to get on here. Kojo Nation, different Cody Johnson, but it's going to be, we're just going to sell it that way. But no, Thank you guys. I appreciate my wife. She loves that I love doing this, and she supports it. Lets me take over the kitchen or the dining room. And like I said, I like getting on with 2 people that I don't get to hang out with and see in person, but I get in contact with and have had a lot of fun with in the past. And this little college rodeo brought us together, and it was in production meetings and in board meetings, and here we are in another avenue and getting to hang out. It's been really good, and I'm excited for next year. I didn't say next year, but I'm excited for what we can do next year. So
yeah, for sure.
My bronc school, my bareback bronc riding school.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have Jess Pope said he's going to try to be here, and Keenan Hayes is going to try to be here. So
very cool. Very cool.
A quick shout out to Earl. He's watched every one of our shows. We appreciate it, Earl. And yeah, Jim Boy I think Jim Boy, you got your steers back in, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jim Boy, you had an exciting week. You had to change tires, get steers in. This is when real life hits the NFR. It's great.
That was an easy week. My kids are all gone. They all went home for Christmas, so it's been easy.
Yes. So here's the information. Listen, if you guys are interested in this bareback saddle bronc riding school with Jim Boy, here's a little bit of information. Just know you got to reach out to him because there's a little application process this year. So reach out if you need some more information. And I'll actually also share that on the Facebook page, so you guys can come back and find it if you need it.
And Court Steer is generally my lead bronc riding instructor.
Okay, very cool. Very
good
cool.
Instructors. Good job. Yeah.
All right, Debbie, thanks for watching. Thank you to everybody for watching. I'm going to drop you guys out and do a little wrap up. Thank you guys so much. I will speak for everyone when I say that we are very blessed to be able to do this kind of stuff for you guys and be able to talk about rodeo and keep that conversation alive. I do want to mention again, if you guys want to, we already got ideas coming in for next year. I appreciate that. If you guys want to partner with us in any way, just reach out to any of the three of us and we can make that work. I will add my shameless plug at the end. If you guys are interested in buying or selling real estate, my husband and myself are licensed real estate agents in the state of Wyoming, but we also can help you where you are. If you aren't sure who to talk to, just reach out to me and I can give you a referral. I can ask all the hard questions and find a good agent for you. There you go. You guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay tuned. There's always good content going out on Bullfrog Creative. See you guys for NFR Hangover Season 4 next year.